December 24th, 1991, Christmas Eve on Hawaii's Big Island. A young woman from Virginia was about to have her life changed forever. Her name was Dana Ireland, age 23. What started as a holiday visit turned into one of the most haunting, unsolved crimes in Hawaii's history. A case that would tear families apart, send innocent men to prison, and remain unsolved for more than 30 years. Today, for the first time in decades, we're telling the full story. Who Dana was, what happened to her, why the investigation went wrong, how new science finally brought clarity, and who the real suspect was. This is the truth behind the Dana Ireland case. Dana Ireland was a young woman from Virginia. Bright, adventurous, and full of life, she planned a trip to the Big Island of Hawaii during the holiday season of 1991. Like many travelers, Dana wanted to experience Hawaii's beauty, the ocean, the trails, the untouched landscape. But on that quiet Christmas Eve, something went horribly wrong. On December 24th, 1991, Dana was riding her bicycle near a rural stretch on the east side of the Big Island. At some point, she was hit by a vehicle, a violent collision that left her critically injured. Soon after, Dana was found along a remote fishing trail near Puna, partially clothed and barely alive. Investigators later concluded that she had been sexually assaulted and brutally beaten before being left on that trail. Emergency responders transported her to Hilo Medical Center, where she died early on December 25, 1991, Christmas Day, from massive injuries and blood loss. It was a shocking and senseless crime that rocked the local community and drew national attention. In the months and years that followed, Hawaii law enforcement scrambled to find Dana's killer. Under intense pressure from the public and Dana's grieving family, investigators made arrests. 3 men, including Albert Ian Schweitzer and his brother Sean Schweitzer, and a third man named Frank Pauline Jr., were indicted and went to trial. In 2000, juries convicted the Schweitzer brothers and Pauline for the rape and murder of Dana Ireland. Ian Schweitzer was sentenced to life in prison, while Sean took a plea deal and served a short sentence with probation. But there was one huge problem. No DNA evidence from the crime scene matched any of these men. In fact, DNA from semen and other evidence taken from Dana's body belonged to an unknown male, someone whose identity was not in any criminal database at the time. Despite the lack of physical evidence tying the Schweitzers or Pauline to the crime, prosecutors pushed forward. Later analysis showed that testimony used against the brothers may have been unreliable or influenced by pressure to close the case. Ian Schweitzer maintained his innocence every day he was behind bars, and for more than 2 decades, he fought to clear his name. Advances in DNA science eventually changed everything. Years after the convictions, new testing technology, including genetic genealogy and improved forensic methods, allowed experts to re-examine evidence from the Dana Ireland crime scene. This included DNA found on her body and on items recovered at the locations where she was attacked. In 2023, Hawaii courts finally vacated the convictions of both Ian and Sean Schweitzer, acknowledging that the DNA evidence excluded them as contributors and that they were wrongfully convicted. For Ian, this meant 23 years lost behind bars for a crime he did not commit. At last, justice for these innocent men became possible, but investigators still needed to find the real killer. Through DNA, genetic genealogy, and other modern forensic work, investigators identified a new person of interest, Albert Loro Jr., a man who lived less than 2 miles from where Dana's body was found and who would have been about 25 years old at the time of the crime. DNA taken from discarded items he used, and later confirmed with a cheek swab, matched the DNA recovered from Dana's body in the crime scene. Despite this compelling match, law enforcement did not arrest Loro. Instead, they invited him in to voluntarily provide the DNA swab. Afterward, he was allowed to leave. Shortly after, Loro took his own life at his home. Only then, through DNA confirmation, did authorities publicly disclose that he was the most likely person responsible for Dana's rape and murder. This brought a bittersweet end to the search for Dana's killer. The identity was found, but he never faced justice in court. The tragedies in this case run deep. For For the Ireland family, the truth arrived more than 30 years late. For the Schweitzer brothers, years of freedom were robbed by wrongful conviction and a justice system under pressure. And for Albert Lauro Jr., his final act prevented answers that only a trial could provide. The Dana Ireland case is now a powerful reminder of the importance of following evidence, especially DNA, and of the devastating consequences when investigations rely on pressure and assumption instead of facts. Dana Ireland is remembered not for how her life ended, but for the impact her case has had on cold case investigations and forensic science. If you found this story compelling, hit like and subscribe for more deep dives into solved and cold cases from around the world. Leave a comment below with what you think about how this case unfolded. Thanks for watching Truth Trove Stories, where the forgotten truths come to light.